this is really the most wonderful and inspiring part of this whole summit, when we have people that have been heroes in privacy, and we get to hear a little bit about their work and honor them and encourage others to emulate their path. And so tonight we have two honorees, and you've seen in the booklet. We're going to first ask Larry Gostin to come up and present the first Louis D. Brandeis Privacy Award for 2013 to Mark Rothstein. Larry, as you know, has been a fabulous co-host and partner for this summit from the very beginning. We're so grateful to him and the O'Neill Institute. And Mark Rothstein is a wonderful, wonderful friend and bioethicist that I've learned so much from. And so he is, anyway, we'll let Larry begin to take the stage. Would that work? Okay, thank you, Larry.
Hi, good evening, and hope you've had a really wonderful and productive day. You know, in all of our work lives and careers, there are very, very few moments that you can really treasure, but being able to give the Louis Brandeis Award to a dear friend, I don't think can be topped. To have that privilege of doing that just means so much to me. And this is a man that means so much to us all, and a man who means so much to the field of health information privacy. I thought, and Brandeis, I mean, I think Mark's spirit really is embodied in Louis Brandeis. I mean, he is, Justice Brandeis, just seems to me that he would be very proud. I'll give you a start with just a little bit of a quick story. I know I was chairing an IOM committee today, but a number of years ago I was chairing one that was really looking closely at health information privacy, and we wanted to invite a number of experts. And so I recommended Mark, and he came, and I have to tell you, he blew the committee away and blew me away. And I just thought, wow, does anybody know this field like he does? And it was just, you know, remarkable. And I think the thing that I love about Mark and his work most, apart from the passion and the intelligence, is the fact that he understands privacy and understands health and understands human beings need to have both to be flourishing. And that means a lot to me, because a lot of people in the health world think, oh, well, privacy doesn't matter. And some people in the privacy world think, well, health doesn't matter. But they both matter, and they matter a lot. And it just so happens you can have it both, but you just have to listen to Mark in order to be able to do that. Mark has had a brilliant career. It's not over. I shouldn't talk about it in the past tense, but that tends to what happens when you get a kind of the culmination of an award like this. But he was a member of the very prestigious National Committee on Vital and Health Statistics. He was appointed by two secretaries for Health and Human Services, both Democratic and Republican. During his term, he chaired the subcommittee on privacy and confidentiality, and he really ushered the country and all of us through two of the major factors in privacy that exist. One is the HIPAA privacy rule, and the other was the development of electronic health records and networks. And Mark was right there on the ground doing the work. He drafted letters to the Secretary on privacy in many occasions, and he held hearings on privacy all over the country in a number of areas of privacy. In his scholarship, I just think that his work in this and actually many, many other areas is unrivaled, and I can say that as a law professor. He's written in privacy at the intersection of generally health information privacy as a theoretical construct and through its implementation. He's done it with respect to genetics, where he's hugely respected, HIV/AIDS, electronic records, research and privacy, clinical care and privacy, occupational health, substance abuse and privacy, and the one that I like the best, public health and privacy. He's just a brilliant public health thinker. I also might mention that he's written a book for Yale University Press on genetic secrets, and I had the privilege of writing a chapter for that book. So I give you a man who is a true hero, a true recipient of the Justice Brandeis Award. I give you the Herbert F. Bale Chair of Law and Medicine and the Director of the Institute for Bioethics, Health Policy and Law at the University of Louisville in the School of Medicine. A man who's written 19 books and over 200 book chapters and articles in areas that have illuminated all of our lives and made a difference in the world. And so thank you, Mark, for all you've done, all you will do, and we love you.
I don't know if there's anything I can say after that. It was one of the most amazing introductions I've heard, and especially for me. So I want to thank you, Larry, and thank you, Deb, and congratulations to you, Peter. I also want to start out by apologizing to the audience. I have laryngitis, as you undoubtedly can hear, and so I will do the best I can with the voice I have tonight. What I want to talk about is why this award is especially important and meaningful to me, and I think there are two reasons. First, the award comes at a conference held at Georgetown University Law Center, and Georgetown has a very special place in my life. It's where I graduated from law school. It's where I met my future wife in the student lounge. I have to add parenthetically, I was absent from a class that was going on at the same time. But retroactively, I got permission to miss that class, and I especially want to thank her for being here with me tonight. Georgetown is where our older daughter graduated from law school, and parenthetically, she served as Larry's research assistant. It's where I taught summer school many years ago, and where it's been my personal and professional privilege to get to know and work with so many faculty members and classmates and students over a long period of time. 40 years ago, almost to the day, on a hot and humid Washington afternoon, and in front of my family and friends, I received my JD from Georgetown. The commencement speaker was former Vice President Hubert Humphrey. I don't remember exactly what he said, but I do remember, and would be very safe to speculate, that it was optimistic, enthusiastic, and blessedly not too long given the weather conditions. I also got to shake his hand as I walked across the stage, and I thought that was pretty neat for a 21-year-old or 23-year-old kid. A few years ago, When giving a speech at the University of Minnesota, I met Skip Humphrey, Hubert's son and a former attorney general in Minnesota. I mentioned that his father was an inspiration to me, and not only on graduation day and in his brave and pioneering work on civil rights and Medicare and other issues, but I had something else in mind when I said that. For 8.5 years, when I served on the National Committee for Vital and Health Statistics, I spent many long and very contentious days at the headquarters of HHS at 200 Independence Avenue, the Humphrey Building. And every day I was there, I walked through the lobby, passed Hubert Humphrey's photograph, and reread his famous quote about the measure of a society being the way it cares for its most vulnerable members. And that gave me encouragement as I went to hearings and meetings on seemingly endless health privacy issues. And for many of them, I was the minority view of these issues. When I told Skip Humphrey about this, he said, hardly a day goes by when someone doesn't come up to him and tell him what a positive influence his father has had on their life. And I thought, what a testament to a life well lived, to have large and small effects on numerous people, close and distant. The ability to have an influence on others is one of the great privileges of being an academic. In 38 years of teaching at schools of law, medicine, and public health, and lecturing at many, many other institutions, I've been able to interact with the next generation of professionals and inform citizens, and in a few instances, possibly affect their careers or their thinking. One of my greatest thrills is to see former students do wonderful things and to think that I might have had a small part in their development. My academic career, begun at Georgetown, has afforded me the opportunity to explore my intellectual passions, including health privacy. And that's why it's so gratifying to be honored by patient privacy rights. Under the leadership of Deborah Peel, Patient Privacy Rights is working to protect the health privacy of people across the country. And in so doing, it is striving to improve the health, well-being, peace of mind, and dignity of millions of Americans. Just a minute, please. The second reason this award is particularly meaningful to me is because it is the Louis D. Brandeis Award. Brandeis, along with Darwin and a few others, is one of my heroes. Brandeis was born in Louisville on November 13, 1856. His childhood home at 310 East Broadway is only 2 blocks from my office at 501 East Broadway, and I pass it often. There is an historical marker in front, which was only recently added. His former home now serves as the dermatology clinic for the University of Louisville School of Medicine. I think Brandeis would actually be pleased that his former home is being used for a practical purpose. Brandeis went to law school at Harvard and practiced law in Boston, but he made periodic trips to Louisville to visit his older brother, Alfred. He supported the University of Louisville's law school with regular financial contributions and by donating his books and personal papers, more than 250,000 items. At his direction, after his death, on October 5, 1941, Brandeis's remains, and later those of his wife, Alice, were buried under the front portico of the law school. In 2000, when we were both on the faculty of the University of Houston, my wife, Laura, was named Dean of the University of Louisville's Brandeis School of Law. The Brandeis name was an important factor in her accepting the position, as was the influence of Brandeis on the school, such as its mandatory public service requirement for students. In 2001, I joined her at the University of Louisville with my primary appointment in the School of Medicine. In Mel Urofsky's biography of Brandeis, and parenthetically, what a treat you'll have to hear from Mel at lunch tomorrow. In his biography of Brandeis, he describes an incident in 1938 in which Brandeis's former law clerk, James Landis, went to visit Brandeis. Landis had been offered the deanship of Harvard Law School, and he asked Brandeis whether he should accept the position. Brandeis told him, quote, "Anybody can be a good dean of the Harvard Law School. Why not take some smaller school and do something with it?" Landis didn't take this advice, and he served as dean at Harvard from 1938 to 1946. In advising Landis, I wonder if Brandeis was thinking about the need to support a law school like the one that now bears his name. During her deanship, Laura proudly invoked the Brandeis legacy and challenged students to emulate the school's namesake. It is through her that I got to meet the Brandeis family, as well as leading Brandeis scholars. In November 2006, to mark the 150th anniversary of his birth, there was a wonderful Brandeis celebration in Louisville, culminating in a dinner at Alfred Brandeis's former home, with Louis and Alfred's grandchildren and great-grandchildren, Brandeis scholars, and other guests. Family members remarked it was like a Brandeis family reunion. Sometimes when Laura and I discuss current events, law, or politics, we speculate what Louis would think about some new threat to privacy, or limit on freedom of expression, or lack of transparency in government. Using Brandeis as a guidepost never fails to clarify our views on things that matter. So what would Louis think of this conference and our individual and collective efforts to protect and promote health privacy? As many of you know, before being named to the Supreme Court by President Wilson in 1916, Brandeis was known as the people's attorney for his developing the concepts of pro bono legal representation and public interest advocacy. He also pioneered the use of interdisciplinary and social science research with his famous Brandeis brief in Mueller versus Oregon in 1908. I am confident he would approve of our use of governmental processes, interdisciplinary scholarship, and public education to advance the cause of health privacy at a time when new technological, economic, and social pressures present unprecedented threats. I also think Brandeis would be pleased that many of us remain steadfast in our commitment to keep lit the torch of privacy he passed to all of us so many years ago. Thank you.